People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
And I mean, the big man Ian said it himself. People deluded. I'm back again now. Appreciative to you lot that are watching this and listening to me via YouTube and Twitch. And just in general, one love for all the support you lot give me physically, mentally, you know, obviously helping build the platforms. Make sure you're following on Twitch journey to 10,000, 50,000 where YouTube's concerned. Without you lot, this has been a movie. What started with a phone, bro, we're doing a madness, man. So large up the DG Nation. Obviously, if you're in the United Kingdom like myself, good morning, good afternoon, and in some cases, good night. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I think I covered everything there. Hope everybody's well and safe. Everybody's blessed. Everyone's having a progressive week in terms of their goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and aspirations. Number one thing is health, people. So I'd love to wish you and your loved ones continued or just better health first and foremost. You ain't got health, you're dead. Then in terms of our goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, aspirations, I hope all the stars align and we all overcome hardship or achieve our goals, people. And I hope you're all having a progressive week in that regards. While we're on that as well, in terms of progression, obviously a lot of you probably have ambitions to be coaches and the rest of it, people. If you are an aspiring young coach, especially if you're an aspiring young black coach, as you lot can see here, Millfield are doing a football coaching internship. Again, it's a chance to get some experience and so they come. So yeah, man, even if you don't want it directly, share it up to your friends and whatnot. You never know who might see it and things. So yeah, do up that one and whatnot, people. It's a fantastic opportunity to, you know, at Millfield School to go and do that, people. You know, I'm pretty sure that school has actually had some redevelopment and things like that. So yeah, and it's not one of them dodgy internships as well where you don't actually get paid. So it's a start, people, in it. So yeah, make sure you're taking that in. Go and do up that one, and yeah, man, start your coaching in it, people. So it is what it is in that regards. So yeah, do up that one. Like I said, we're about elevation around these sides. So yeah, if you're not trying to elevate, what's the point? Big up the Twitch gang, large up the YouTube ones. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. It's a jam-packed day of content. Large up the Twitch gang, because obviously we were just on Twitch where we spoke about little bits and bobs in relation to Arsenal, and we more broadly spoke about football. Any questions, talking points, Arsenal or not, feel no sort of way of commenting. By the way, people, we're here at 11:30 till whenever. At 2:10 on Twitch, I'm going to have Mo Hayder. You know, we're going to speak Arsenal. I think it's been a minute since we've spoken slyly in it, so I'm going to ask him about Leicester. Who did we play before Leicester, folks? I can't remember, but the two games that we have played, asking what he feels about the striker situation, Crystal Palace we'll touch on, etc., etc. And I'm going to need you lot to come provide some talking points and whatnot for me and Mo. So yeah, that's going to be on Twitch. Again, if you're watching this via Twitch, you're doing the right thing. I don't need to tell you anything else, man. Large up the Twitch gang. 4:30, I'll also be live on Twitch as well. We might as well play FM. So yeah, large up you lot tuned in. Without you lot, it wouldn't be possible, man. So yeah, man, it's lovely to see new names, but don't get it twisted. It's lovely to see the same ones. Big up yourself, DG. Listening at work, my G. Keep murking it. Will do, K, man. Hope everyone's having a progressive day, whether they're at work, at home, whatever they're doing in it, man. Watford, aye. Big up yourself, eh? Yeah, the Watford game. Morning, see. Again, so yeah, we'll speak about... Have I actually been writing this down as well? Like, because I like to... You don't never see it, but when I have collabs, I like to know what I'm going to ask people. So what we need to do... What did you say? You said Watford. Liverpool, and I'd actually say Watford because we ain't spoken about any of them really. I would say how he feels on the end of March. I'm gonna ask him about how he feels about the strikers we've been linked with, what he feels about Cedric's performances, Saliba, the last 10 games, Crystal Palace next 3 games. So yeah, that's got quite a bit to ask Mo still, but yeah, anything you feel I'm missing out, go and get this, man. Your face is starting to age, bro. You don't look 18 anymore. Hey, don't get it twisted. Still a baby face assassin, man. Don't get it twisted, man. You know, I'll take that. But, you know, it is what it is. Can't be looking older with whatnot. Don't get it twisted. I'm still a chocolate Barbie. What are you saying? Your baby mom's noticing the age. What can I say, man? You get me? When I'm like 50 and you lot are tired and I'm looking 30, you know who's... Well, I already am the buffest in London still. The buffest in England, better yet. But you get the point. Therefore, when it comes to this football thing, I'm definitely top three. I'm definitely top three when it comes to sexiest black men in London. In fact, England, you know, I'm definitely up there. Definitely top four. And I'm not third. I'm not fourth, third, or second. So on a humble thing. But yeah, man, you're setting me off, man. Jim Jones, you're setting me off. You're setting me off. Let's stay on task, man. Let's stay on task. The chocolate darling is still glistening. Due a haircut as well, man. Looking a mess, but love for that. Obviously, Mikel Arteta ain't left, but Gary Neville has had some things to say. You know, Gary Neville, the self-fulfilling pussy old vacuum that is Gary Neville, always chatting, just chatting, and for Arsenal. My confidence in Leno has risen from the Villa game, but Ramsdale being fit enough is a must. Trust me. And I mean, you know, Leno did his thing when he came in, and I think people quite disrespectful to Leno, if I'm honest. He's still a good keeper. He's, you know, it's still a good second choice keeper to have to the end of the season and whatnot. Does he make me nervous? Of course. Does it make me nervous with Tomiyasu and Ramsdale's injuries, especially when the back five unit is a big part of our success? Of course, but everyone in the 25-man squad has to stand up to be counted. And, you know, whatever you think of someone like Cedric, in the last couple of games, you stood up to be counted. It's not exactly a big sample pool, but Leno, you was called upon and you got a clean sheet. So this is the time where we need certain things. If anyone's going to surprise us, it needs to happen now. So I share your opinion, though. Ramsdale needs to be fit, man. For me, it's mainly more... I'm not saying Leno isn't a character, but for me, it's just evident that Ramsdale's a character. I feel there's a lot of players at Arsenal. Has been a lot of players where, you know, you hear from people that are in the know or people on articles and that, how this guy's a character in the dressing room, his name holds weight, etc. For me as a fan, while I clearly that interests me, it's somewhat irrelevant because I'm not there Monday to Friday. I'm just here when you lot are playing games and whatnot. So I can only see at the surface. And from what I see at the surface with Ramsdale, man's a leader. He knows how to manage the game. He's a leader. Away from home in games like Crystal Palace, he can ooze calmness. Obviously, Ramsdale's made 1-2 mistakes. Isn't all the way there yet. But I just feel I'd be a lot more comfortable with Ramsdale and what he does. And obviously, Tomiyasu, like, not to get at Leno, but one thing I liked Martinez had over you is that it seemed like Martinez, like Ramsdale, sorry, they have self-awareness. They know what they can do. They know what they can't do. They know there's a time and a place. And they're very vocal. I don't think he's vocal enough. And obviously the distribution is one thing. Like, Leno is a good keeper, but, you know, he was killing Saka and them, man, with his distribution. The ball's going off the field. So that is probably going to have a knock-on effect. But hopefully it's not that deep. And like I said, man, Leno's doing his thing. So it is what it is, man. I'm starting to get a bit nervous. I must say, you should be, man. You should be. You should be. It's that time. Weird flex, but all right. 26 likes. We're doing all right, people. We're doing all right. I don't know what my man's on, but I'm not on the foolishness. So, yeah, man, you know, Arsenal arguably have the top goalkeeper tandem in the league. In terms of number 1 and 2, fair play, you know, fair play. What? Ramsdale and Leno, you know, Mendy and Kepa's not bad, even though I don't necessarily rate Kepa like that. You know, United, whatever man say about De Gea, he's a good keeper. They've got Henderson, at least, like with Leno, at least to the end of the season as a backup. Who else? Would you say West Ham, Fabianski and Areola? I don't really rate Areola and whatnot. Arteta could leave Arsenal. Have you covered that story yet? Not yet. And you're right, Gary Neville chats too much. That's his job, though, to chat some more, man. Like, I don't know for Gary Neville. Obviously, his job is just to talk nonsense, innit? And to be fair, from what I saw so far, I haven't read all the comments. I don't think he might not necessarily be wrong with what he said necessarily, but I do fundamentally think the man is changed shit. So let me see what exactly he has said, man. Let's skip to that article. Let's crack on. Hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Twitch gang, just make sure you've checked the schedule and you're aware of the other bits of pieces of content. You know, I can't lie. Twitch is like Bukayo Saka. YouTube, you man are Reece Nelson. You need a bit more help and support and all of those sort of things. Hey, how could I forget Liverpool? Liverpool, you know, Liverpool there. Alisson and the other Donny. definitely, definitely. And Liverpool, out of the names I've said, you could see Leno's probably going to leave. Henderson, depending on what happens with De Gea, something needs to happen in the summer for them. Kepa, I don't necessarily rate, but you could definitely have a lot worse in terms of goalies. I don't rate Areola, but Fabianski and Areola is not bad options. Liverpool, definitely Alisson #1. Liverpool probably have the best of the two, really, best of what, you know what I mean, innit? The first and choice, second choice. So probably do. But let's see what Gary has said. Gary Neville claims brilliant Mikel Arteta could walk out on Arsenal if they finish 4th this season because the club have depressed ambition, can't compete. That's tough to read. I don't necessarily think he's wrong because I think Arteta has the most ambition in the world. He wants Arsenal to be back winning trophies, getting top 4, etc. And I know everything's good, but let's be honest, we don't know if the Cronkies want to do that. In the same way we might look at it and say, all right, now's a chance to kick on in the Champions League and solidify ourselves with other people strengthening. They might just see that as it's comfortable, and there has been a degree of comfortability. And I mean, whatever we have to say about Arteta, about Emre, about Raul Sanye, about Mislintat, anyone that's come in, the one variable has stayed in that the Kroenkes, and that has been a consistent one for years. And that Arsenal have not been mentioned for serious things since their ownership. So when you get past the euphoria of us spending money, what Arteta is developing, that's at face value. When you start looking at the structures above, it all depends. You look at Liverpool with FFG, how they use the Coutinho money. You look at City, how they've made everything perfect for Pep Guardiola beyond the obvious, just to focus on management. I don't want to praise our rivals from down the lane, but if you remember what Pochettino was doing in his somewhat no trophies, but in his prime at Spurs, they got to a point where you could see Poch had ambition, the players had ambition, the fans definitely have ambition. Spurs fans don't know what a trophy is. I have to get them out. But it came to a point where Daniel Levy, were you going to bring in a couple of players to supplement what's going on? And Arsenal's going to get to that. Now, are we going to get to a point where we're going to get players that kick on? Because Arteta's chat is being backed up with what I'm seeing. For me, with the Kroenkes, it's a lot of talking, not necessarily doing things. Edu, I'm not trying to catch strays, but you do a lot of talking. I don't necessarily know what you do. So I don't think he's necessarily wrong. 4th could be as good as it gets. We're not going to immediately start challenging for the Champions League or the Premier League or whatever. So assuming that's what he's talking about, then maybe. But in terms of Arteta leaving, who knows? He's linked with City. Propaganda got Arteta the job. Propaganda is still there. Let's be honest. He's a fantastic manager doing fantastic things, but no man is without faults. And he had a hype train. If Pep leaves City, I don't know if the job's too big for Arteta, but he could say, you know what? I've got you, man, 4th. I've done what I've done. I'm going over there because they're going to spend peas in that. That could be it, But in relation to walking out, Arteta's not achieved nothing at the club yet. So he could walk out if opportunities come. But what's he achieved? Respectfully, I'm not trying to believe he's won the FA Cup. He can leave with his head held high, but he ain't, if I'm Arteta, I'm feeling there's unfinished business. You haven't finished 4th yet. You haven't seen out a campaign or participated in a champion fruits of your labor, in the sense of you ain't seen Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe. We're scratching the surface in terms of their potential. We haven't seen what they're doing collectively. We haven't seen the fruits of your labor. So does he want to leave the project yet? I don't know, people. So we'll have to see. I don't think he's leaving, but this is what Mr. Gary Neville is saying, innit? Let's see. Gary Neville suggests Arteta, and I mean, this is going, I do like, I'm a big fan of how it flips, you can't understand how we're spending money, then you're breading. Arteta, you don't know how he got the job, and now you're breading, only Arteta's gone from getting sacked to, he got the job on propaganda to now universally he is the man. But he suggests Mikel Arteta may decide to leave Arsenal if they finish 4th. Let's be honest. If he was to be at City, Liverpool and Chelsea, I know we're doing good, but some of the things he's done, or when the period has been less negative, them clubs there sack man for less. Definitely where City and Chelsea are. Let's be honest, the relationship initially is of mutual benefit with Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. For him, he got a job that he was, let's be honest, underqualified for. He got his role. The board didn't really want them managers that have experience because they're going to put pressure. So it gave him a platform. It got pressure off their back, and it's a long-term sort of manager that fits in with what they're doing. So I don't know, if certain other clubs, if you look at his former club in City and PSG, they might clip you. But big up Arteta and what he's doing. Let's skip straight to what my man has said. I really like Arteta. I think he's a brilliant coach. I think the team is fantastic in terms of the young players they've got. But it's interesting when you're in a cycle of a club and you depress the ambition and have a significant period of failure, because you then get really happy about finishing fourth. I find myself saying that about Manchester United, but it's because of depressed ambition. We all know fourth has become a byproduct of what it can do for you financially. I think Mikel Arteta is a good operator. My concern is if Arsenal finish fourth this season, which to be fair, I think is 50-50. I still think there's a long way to go in that race. But if they finish fourth, that is in some ways as good as it gets. I don't necessarily disagree with what he has said. You know, only time will tell if Arsenal want to build upon that. And it goes deeper than Arteta. Like I said, I don't doubt Arteta's ambition and things like that. It's what the club want to do. Do you not necessarily the obvious in terms of spending, but United are going to get a new manager. Whether spending correlates to succeeding, they're going to attempt to better the squad. Chelsea, when they're able to, they're going to attempt to better the squad on top of what they've done. You know, City are going to better the squad. So, and we need to better our squad because our strikers are 4 goals between them. So we'll have to see. I don't think it's necessarily wrong what he said. You know, I have to see those above Mikel Arteta. If you've got to walk before you can run in it. We have to know that we can qualify for the Champions League again and do several things before we talk about league titles and whatnot. I don't think he's necessarily said anything wrong per se so far. I do think it's still 50-50, you know, really, in terms of top 4. It would be overperforming, but would that provide so important for those above Mikel Arteta, you know, because arguably now managers are the most disposable in football now. You should have a system, you know. If Barcelona have returned to their principles. If Xavi leaves, there's going to be somebody else of that ilk, you know. City are going to have the same, and you get the point in it. Arsenal should have that. There should be several principles that are in place, really. But yeah, man. So I don't know, man. You've got Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Manchester United, Chelsea. Where can Arsenal go? They're not going to compete, which is true. Have United been competing for the last 5 years? I think not. Pep is going to improve. Chelsea are going to. United are going to. But that doesn't mean Arsenal don't have a chance. You know, again, spending is one thing. You know, where we're probably crippled in comparison to some of the clubs. But if you build a winning mentality, you build a team, you have a chance to compete. I don't like the future prediction thing here. Mikel Arteta is a brilliant coach. I'd love that we're seeing a team. A lot of these players could go up. I think our game management individually, collectively, there's a lot. We're nowhere near our maximum. But he gets to fourth, and if he's really hard about that, he probably says, yeah, right, that's the best I can do there. I'm going and getting my next job. Now, this is where I start disagreeing, because I hear the logic, but it's almost in a degree that Arteta's doing us a favor. He hasn't accomplished anything there. Again, it just seems like anything for clicks. You know, Gary Neville's a media whore, so there's that in it, really. You've got to take what they're saying with a pinch of salt. As we know, these lot are not football fans, man. These lot are just self-fulfilling vacuums. The only team Gary Neville supports is himself. He just wants to be seen speaking about this. So yeah, man, what are you lot saying on that? But yeah, that's Gary Neville's comments on relation to Mikel Arteta leaving, people. Lacazette got a hat-trick and we weren't there to see it, man. We'll touch on the Brentford game in a sec. Would be great to compete for a league title, but Man City and Liverpool are very high level right now. Exactly. Neville, the secret agent, trying to rattle the Arsenal train and derail the progress by highlighting problems that don't exist. You know what we need to do? Flores scored a banger, man. Arteta's just getting started. Gary Neville waffling. Listen, one thing that I like, smash the like button as well. Big up Big Yards and big up the Twitch gang. One thing that I would say that I like with Arteta and these players, the noise, bro. Just let these lot talk. Just do your job. If it's not coming out of Arteta's mouth or your fellow teammates, it's irrelevant, because if we listen to the media, for Arteta, you know, Gary Neville said you spent peas, you didn't even know. Like in the summer, we spent peas and we don't know what was going on. There's a lot of positive noise. There was a lot of negative noise. You know, just focus on what Arsenal is doing. Just focus on the collective. Everything takes care of themselves. We know the media force Arsenal narratives to the point where, because we wasn't losing and crumbling and things like that, the only thing they could hit us with is trying to crucify us for celebrating. Just don't listen to the noise. I mean, me personally, I haven't seen us for a while. When I see my players, Saliba is not played for us, Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, the manager, These guys allegedly are being monitored by bigger clubs or highly sought after. I haven't seen that for a while. Nobody wanted Mustafi and these sort of man. So it says we're doing something well, surely. So you have to take it with a pinch of salt. It's coming from external forces. And Gary Neville, if we lose our next 5 games, he'll be at a flick of he'll change his opinion. I don't think he's necessarily wrong in everything he said, but yeah, man, you've got to take what these men say with a pinch of salt because they're just self-fulfilling vacuums, man. Really and truly. And we don't know what the landscape is going to say. I do believe that, we're a long way away from competing. But, Liverpool, what's the longevity project saying there? Chelsea, with what's going on with the owners, what's potentially happening there? What is spending doesn't necessarily correlate to winning, as you saw with City. What is going to happen to City post-Pep now? I imagine City are going to keep the competing. Chelsea the same, etc. There's no, even though I think United will be back competing very soon, but they've got a lot of structural problems similar to us. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that Arsenal will get fourth. There's no guarantee we'll kick on with fourth. There's no guarantee for a lot of things like in life. But what you need to do is seize the moment. So that's what I would say. That's my pence on that. From Arteta not being good enough to us wasting 150 million. Now Arteta is too good for Arsenal. Gary Neville needs to choose his battles wisely. Bro, he's just chatting shit, man. Don't let the negative spoil our positive mood. Bro, we're just talking about it. This is irrelevant. Like I said, bro, Gary Neville's not an Arsenal man. It's not like Ian, big up Ian Wright, big up Righty. Ian to me, Righty to you now. I'm playing the Ian Wright. If it come from him, then I might take it with a pinch of salt. But Gary Neville's irrelevant. He's on Sky Sports to chat. That I think this come out of chatting on the show. It's irrelevant what man have to say, really. Let these men talk positively and negatively. Just continue doing what you're doing. It is what it is. And for me, it's nice to have a manager that's being linked with. Obviously, he's got a long way to go before he's in the same realm as Klopp and Pep. But them man are linked with the big clubs. Tuchel linked with United and everything. The players at Arsenal are being linked with, man. I think it's just testament to what we're doing. Nobody wants shit players. Nobody wants a shit gaffer. So he's calm, man. But as my man said here, Arteta's just getting started. He's not. If he leaves tomorrow, obviously he's won an FA Cup. So that's all that's going to really matter. That's what the history books are going to say. For me, I'll remember you for that. I remember you for making some hard decisions where you look at Ozil and Aubameyang, etc., and obviously trying to change the blueprint. But beyond all of that, what's he achieved at Arsenal if it ends tomorrow, boys? Unfinished business. And especially when you're Arteta, back-to-back 8 finishes, bare madness saying you should get sacked. When it's finally looking sunny, finally, assuming it continues this way, looking half decent, would you not want to? And as I said, for me, I feel Arteta, while he's still learning his tricks and trades of the game, because he's not a world-class gaffer yet, this is probably the perfect club for him because, let's be honest, expectations are kind of on the floor. Arteta, if he goes to City and them things there, he'll probably be in problems. And did Arteta not say, I know things can happen and it doesn't really matter if man sign new deals, managers or players, but is he not going to sign a new deal or something? So we'll have to see what's going on, really. There will come a time where we might say, the gaffer's going to keep it moving. And let's be honest, Arteta has come to love Arsenal. He's not brought up in North London or, somewhere else that has an affiliation to Arsenal. He's an economic migrant, essentially. He's come to love Arsenal, like Everton, like Rangers, like PSG, clubs that he might go and manage. Who knows? Arsenal might get to a point where we say, all right, cool, all the building blocks he's done, he's 30 in that, but he might not be the guy. We need to get someone else that can do other things. So we don't know, but I just feel Gary Neville's chatting shit, man, personally. Pardon my French. I just feel he's waffling. I don't feel he's necessarily wrong with everything he said, but who gives a fuck, man? Like, who gives a crap, man? Big up you lot. Keep your opinions coming, man. Big up the Twitch gang, especially. Shout out the YouTube one. Keep your opinions coming. I missed out certain comments. Let me see what you lot are saying. I can understand the thought process around bringing in Dybala, regardless if you rate him or not. He can play as a 10 and a 9. This allows Arsenal to spend big on another major striker. Graham, I agree, but you're going to have to give him a serious fat stack. And at 28, 29, Dybala, I don't know. And I look at Dybala the way I look at João Felix. Different ages, of course. Fundamentally, quality players, quality. Raise for me, especially João Felix, for me, raises the profile of the club, raises everything. But then, specifically beyond the quality and all of that, are either player necessarily what we need? Is Dybala a 9 or a 10? Or is he a 9.5, a 10.5? He can play both, but what is he? He's not quite a striker. He's more so a 10. Now, as an Arsenal man, a Wenger baby, I'm never going to say no to these sort of guys. And left-footed tacks. You know, I'll be shameless and say he's the best left-footed Argentine that's ever kicked the ball. But he doesn't necessarily, is he an 8? Is he a 9? Is, you know, he can score goals, but is he a goal scorer? I think we need to get back to, especially in a day and age where everybody can do everything. Bare attacking players are wingers and strikers, but not necessarily a master. I feel we need to get back to, can you do a job first, and then all the extracurricular roles you undertake are beneficial. I think, is it any coincidence we've said to Partey, you're back being a number 6, bro? All the goals, everything he's been doing is a byproduct and just extra. You know, I think sometimes we blur the line. So I'm taking Dybala and the wages, you know, again, after tearing up some contracts and finally getting us some big earners off the wage bill, Dybala's going to want a fat stack. You know, if he does the job, then who cares? But it's something to consider. I wouldn't be against Dybala at all, man. And apparently, you know, the rumors are going full circle. Darwin Nunez, Dybala, Lautaro Martinez, Tielemans is back. Fabian Ruiz next week. Douglas Luiz this week. Don't let me talk. Big up Lacazette, but all of this, people, please don't let it end in just solely Lacazette getting a new deal, and that's what we're doing next season, man. Walk out if you finish 4th, but he's finished 8th twice, so why not leave then? Exactly. Do you think Arsenal could join? Do you think Dybala could join Arsenal? I think we've got a chance. I don't think we're the outstanding candidate. I don't think he will, but I think we've got a chance if Spurs can, you know, put the offer on the table. Money talks. After all, it took Liverpool 30 years to win the Premier League again, and we're in nearly 20 years from our last one. So it's not impossible to believe it can happen in the future under the right circumstances. Shout out you lot, man. Just goes to show how United have fallen, that they have Neville playing mind games to try psych us out of 4th. This is the time of the season. Just play. More people overthink things, more likely to have an issue. Amen. To be honest, I don't listen to the media saying about Arsenal needs to build in recruitment. And if we get 4th finish, the foundation in centre mids and the strikers then get qualities. I can't lie, bro. I don't know what you said there, but love. Sancho back up account. We saying DG raw. Man, raw, is that how you're taking pictures? Raw, man are feeling themselves. Just finding, big up yourself anyway, just finding any excuse to bring Arsenal down since we're on an upwards trajectory. Because at the end of the day, we're going to talk about it, innit? Like, it is what it is. Big up at Dasher Sports. Go and check out his thing. Man said, Shreddy's in my bowl and Deluded up on my screen. Let's go. One love, my dude, man. DG, would you say, even if Arteta hasn't achieved anything at Arsenal, wouldn't you say he has set up the team for someone else to come in and kick on with Arsenal because he has done a good job at Arsenal? All hypothetical, of course. That's what I just typically alluded to, you know, in that you've won an FA Cup. At the end of the day, 30 years from now, man, I'm not going to really remember or care about what you did with Ozil or Aubameyang. All that matters is trophies. But yeah, that's what I said. If worse comes to worse, he set it up for someone to do all right, really. Hey, man, you've missed so many streams, but you're there now, boss. It's all right, dog. That's the same question I was asking myself too. Are they really the striker we need, or does Arteta even want an out-and-out 9? He might want someone that can do what Laka does to a higher level. He clearly does, but I think, me personally, with the way Arteta is speaking, I think he wants a striker that's going to score goals, because he keeps saying we need to score 100 goals. And you was here. Well, I don't know if he was here, but we went through one of his press conferences and he was saying how he was asked about a striker and he's like, goals are important. They need to score goals. And then as much as we talk with the youth thing, he says little things like, oh, we might need 1 or 2 players that are ready now. We need this, we need that. And for me anyways, in vague, indirect ways, Mikel Arteta is kind of saying, all right, as much as it's about tomorrow and them things, we need a couple players. Whatever way we look at it, goals win games. If we had the stardust that City had, where bare guys can get 10, 20 goals between them and it all continues, then fair play. If we had Liverpool's thing where you've got Salah and whatnot, then fair play. We wouldn't necessarily have to rely on a striker to score goals. But I think he wants a striker that scores goals, man. Whether they're false 9, whether they're throwback, I think they have to score goals first things first, and then all that other stuff is there. Because let's be real, we overcompensate on the fact of Lacazette's build-up play and whatnot, because we've got no other option for 1, really, and for 2, there's an evident lack of goals there. I mean, we know Darwin Nunez is wanted by us, Spurs and United, so we're going to have to see, man. Aubameyang is doing really good in Barca. Do you miss him? Of course I miss Aubameyang. A part of me wanted, you know, it to happen here, innit? Like, where he finds his form, and definitely we could do with them goals and whatnot. People, you know, it would have been amazing for Aubameyang, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. You can't go back in time. Happy to see Aubameyang thriving. You know, happy to see us right now doing what we're doing. You know, nobody's lost any face. You know, Aubameyang clearly doesn't look like the negative character portrayed to be. Arteta doesn't look like the madman that he's portrayed to be. We're just getting on with it, innit, really? Just who would be the better option between him and Felix? I assume you're talking about Dybala. I'd say João Felix. He's younger. Yeah, man, he's younger. There's resale value. You can be here for the project longer. Like what? Again, I don't like to do the age thing. And Dybala's game isn't necessarily reliant on any physical attribute, but you know, João Felix hasn't scratched the surface of what he could be as a player. You know, he's gone from playing in Portugal, gone to Atletico Madrid. Obviously, at Atletico, I think he's improved a lot because you're an attacking man playing in a defensive system. There's things you're going to learn, but he hasn't been playing in an attacking system, a serious team where he can play to his benefits. When I hear the way Arteta speaks about Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, and the way they speak about the improvements, João Felix, this is the thing for you. The only problem is it would be a serious outlay on a player, which, again, stardust, amazing, can do all these things. But at this moment in time, we need a striker. Is he a 9? I don't know. And he's clearly not all the way there yet because he's not always playing for Atletico and he's not always playing for Portugal, really. In a way, I kind of understand why he went all out for Vlahovic. I do as well, and a part of me just feels we were going for players we knew we had no clue. The biggest clue to the type of striker Arteta wants is someone who matches Vlahovic's profile the most. That's Nunez for me. I hear that, but then in the summer, it was a Tammy Abraham and Lautaro Martinez thing. Then it's become Darwin Nunez in the last little minute. There was a time it was Isaac. We obviously had Daily Deuce and the Vlahovic saga. There was a time it was Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So I think, obviously, no striker is going to be the same in it, but I think there's a common link in that there's general play aspects with them. They can do a bunch of other things, and the majority of them can score goals, man. I feel this manager is not the one to move this great club forward. What's your view? I think, you know, when he was playing rubbish, managing the team in the rubbish aspect, he deserved that. Right now, Arteta is showing me he's the man that can move this team forward, reset the basics, make sure we're able to do the basics in terms of collective accountability of our performances, consistency, pride in the shirt, wanting clean sheets, that hunger, that desire to react to resilience. These are all things that the ball was on the floor and these things evaded us. And I think he's doing that. Whether Arteta is the guy to consistently get us Champions League football, get us in the latter stages of these competitions, challenge for trophies is another thing. But I think the man, again, assuming it continues like this, he's earned the right for us to at least see what he's got. If we get to the future where it's looking like you're not the one, then that's a conversation we'll evidently have. We're still not at 100 likes, though, man. You lot are violating. We're at 20 more likes. If you hit the like button, God bless. Twitch gang, as I said, you man are Bukayo Saka. You just do your job. Hey, apart from Danny, stop following me and unfollowing me, blood. What's wrong with you, man? You're on some weirdo shit on Twitch, man. Who would bang more on the free, Firmino or Jesus? Firmino for me. Fave kick from the new leaks. Remind me, but I'd say the black or the pink one still. But then again, the black one's not a dickhead thing. It's decent. Nunez has good energy, determination, speed, heading, link-up playing, can finish. Best youngster available, I think, for what we need. Like and subscribe, people. Bravo, I can't disagree. I like Nunez a lot, man, still. God bless you all, man. Julian, I appreciate that, man. Vlahovic out of the Champions League and probably won't win the Scudetto. That's what you get. I mean, let's allow Vlahovic. I mean, the man wanted to go to Juventus, innit? I know we wanted him at Arsenal, but whether it's worked out at Juventus or not, we can run the jokes and that. But, bro, that's what a man wanted to do, innit? Like, what can we say? If that's what he wanted to do with his career, like, while I would have loved him here, it's what it is. The black away kick looks wavy. But then again, it scares me because, not scares me, but it's like, I see two different versions of the black one. I see one cold one that's just normal black. And then I see some booky ones with some strips and that. I don't really want the strip one. You did it. Just don't watch it, man. Tired of seeing your Dan_LFC following and unfollowing, man. Allow it, bro. Do you think Vlahovic would have been a good purchase for Arsenal? Do you think he's a risk? Every striker is a risk, man, especially in today's day and age where there's a real lack of quality. Every striker, I don't feel even, obviously I would have been very happy to have Vlahovic, Vlahovic, I would have been happy. Martinez, Litoro, I'd be happy. Osimhen, I know a lot of people won't be happy right now, but I'd be happy. Darwin Nunez, I'd be happy. They're what I would call the more higher caliber links that we've had, but they all present a risk. They've all got their own individual risks, which, again, I just hope we've done our due diligence. But based on the aggression we had for Vlahovic, we was following him since his time in Serbia. I have to imagine when you've done that sort of due diligence, then he's got half a chance of succeeding in it. For me, as I always say, as long as we know these players' weaknesses, we have half a chance. I obviously need to know about their strengths. I want to know about their strengths, but I don't care about their strengths because that's why they're here. What's their weaknesses? How do we take them to the next level? And the same is said for the existing players at the club as well. Do you rate Tielemans or not? Yeah, I rate Tielemans. I think people gas it a bit. I do think a lot of the things that we get annoyed about that Granit Xhaka does, Tielemans does it as well. Shaky defensively, loses the ball in key areas sometimes, very quite poor defensively, if I'm honest with you. Takes a lot of unnecessary touches for as good as he is, I feel he's got a lot to learn. Nunez scored 6 goals last season. Are we actually looking at him last season? 24 games, 6 goals, while Martinez wants Arsenal. I don't know what Martinez wants. Nunez stunk up the place at Almeria. We weren't there last year. But everyone, we've got to take risks. Sometimes you've got to be the guys. That's what I mean. Everyone's got risks. I think some of you always remind me that when we look at Osimhen, he's not really that prolific against the bigger teams. For Martinez, I think the most he's got is 15, 18 goals in a league campaign. And while he's in double figures now, he had a bit of a goal drought. I do see why we want Calvert-Lewin. He's not the most pleasing on the eye, but there's a risk there. Tammy Abraham, there's a risk there. Darwin Nunez, he's still a bit raw with it, but that's where we're at. You look at our team, we've bought real players. No one's the finished article. When I hear Edu say little things and Arteta say little things like, we're buying young players now, in the future we might do something different. Maybe we move away from these untested products, but that's what we're at. You look at the team, who's a finished article in the team? Ramsdale's not, Ben White's not, Gabriel's not, Tierney's not, Tomiyasu's not, Lokonga isn't, Who else is there? Tavares ain't really a part of it like that. He's not. Smith Rowe ain't, Saka ain't, Gabriel ain't, Pepe Defo ain't, and I know some of these guys that I've said you more want them to be, but yeah, man, you got to look at the age, bro. These lot are developing, like I said, taking them to the next level. Isaac as well. Like, I actually think Isaac fits what Arteta wants to do down to a T, people. The problem is, I don't think Isaac is going to score enough goals in that first 6 months. I think physically he might struggle, and I don't, his personality, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's like his personality. He looks like one of them man that he can get a bit down on himself and things like that. So every striker we're being linked with is going to present their own individual risk. Don't forget, people, 2:10. I'm going to have Mo. What's the most you'll pay for Nunez? Obviously, it's not your money sweating the issue, but we need to spend elsewhere as well. I don't really know, man. What's the asking price? 1 minute you hear 56 to 60 million, I will do it. If you could get a deal that reaches that, then you hear they want a mad thing. So I don't really know, man, what these lot are on. Really don't know. Do you feel Arteta would excel even more if he had a credible sideman in the same way he was with Pep? I don't know, maybe, but it does come down to your coaching staff. Generally, you look at the set piece coach and Earpod Albert. You need a coaching staff. Klopp's got his, Pep's got his, Fergie had his, Wenger had his, Jose had his. You can't, Carlo Ancelotti has his. You can't do it alone, especially in today's day and age. Think about it logically, bro. Arteta can't. There's only so many hours in a day. Arteta needs to first to worry about how you're getting 3 points, because that's all everyone cares about. Now, when people want to talk about the young G's and what we're doing, 3 points is what we need. That's the breadline, innit? That's why man are employed. You need 3 points. You need to keep developing what we're doing collectively, the system, all these things. You've got press things to do. You've got a bunch of players that you need to keep happy and make them feel part of it. You've got some players that you probably need to show more attention, some less attention, some take a more softer approach, a harder approach. You've got to deal with recruitment. You've got to deal with how you can improve individual players, because again, if we've got an hour session today with the whole collective team, I can't really, you know, if I say in this collective session, I'm gonna focus a bit more on, let's say, Saka. That's going to take in the hour. That's taken away from the other 24 players. So again, that's the sort of thing you need a coach's stuff. Arteta can't be everywhere, and arguably, coaches is more important in today's day and age because they're your eyes and ears. How the players and what happens when you're out of the room says it all. You know, these were the little rumblings over Emre, man, are giggling behind his back and them things. You need to play the game, especially as I keep saying in today's day and age. Arguably, a manager or a head coach, which Arteta has gone from being a head coach to a manager, the most disposable, should be the most disposable. Every club should have a mandate, a system, how they want to play, their values, etc. Historically, Barcelona, historically, what Real Madrid are on, historically, what Bayern Munich have been about, historically, what Arsenal used to be about under Wenger, etc., etc. I don't really want to praise them, but historically, what Manchester United have been about, and then things filter in. And I do think, for me to really see that, it's bigger than Arteta. Like, I need to, I don't want to keep bringing up Edu, but I need to know that you're 30. I need to know the owners are 30. I need to know all the other bits and pieces and components are 30. So it's a massive job. So it's a collaborative thing, and Arsenal do make a big song and dance of that collaborative sort of thing that they talk about. So yeah, man, that would be my answer. It's bigger than just Arteta, we'll call it that. Big up you lot, man. You lot on fire, man. No, I haven't seen that report by the Swiss Ramble. Black away kit with the gold trim. We make champs. My card will be swiped. Just brown buying everything anyways, man. Balogun's performing for England right now. Do you think he should go back on loan next season or stay as a second or third striker? If you're second striker, then I think if you're genuinely second striker, I would stay because you get football. If you're third, I know there's a lot of football. There's no point really because it would be good for the squad, but you need minutes. I think probably worth Balogun going out, learning again, full season sort of thing. Maybe staying at Middlesbrough because the manager believes in him. And to be fair, you know, I've seen him perform for England and that, but haven't really seen enough. He's still developing. It's his first harsh reality into the professional game sort of thing. But, you know, anytime when I watched him against United, out of his comfort zone, really anonymous. When I watched him against Chelsea, the whole team, but I'm only there for Balogun, the same. Against Spurs, you know, in fact, against United, they looked better when he came off. Spurs, he ripped Romero, but he didn't do much. This is what I want to see. I want to obviously see Balogun scoring goals and doing things, but that is of more benefit to me than seeing him score at under 21s or, you know, bagging at 23s level. Because respectfully, that's foolishness, bro. Man, no, you can do that. You need to be outside your comfort zone. It's like a centre back. I don't want a centre back always playing shit strikers. I don't know you're a good centre back. Of course, I want to see you pocket big boy players, but if you get ripped, you know what you need to do, really. So if he's going to get proper game time, I'm not talking about the cups and all of them things. If you're going to play properly, yeah, man. Is what it is, man. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Bro, I think I've got criticism here. Sorry, I know we need these 3 points this weekend, but can we be happy with a point from Palace? Yeah, I wouldn't be because we need 3 points. I feel Palaces are one of our bogey teams and we struggle way too much against Palace. You know, I'll be very upset if Pep Guardiola, if Vieira doesn't nice us in the same way Pep, Arteta is your boy. You let them look down the lane, get 6 points off you. You couldn't let us beat you at the Emirates. So we need to win still, especially if they've got no Zaha. They never had Zaha last time we played them. But if there's no Elise, no Zaha, you know, it's going to be very difficult in South London. But man, need to win that game. I'll be real with you, lot. Besides you namming and being late constantly, I see the method behind your madness. So big up DG. Me late, or just you lot on time? You know, constantly eating. To be fair, you're capping with the constantly eating. You saw me eat some biscuits today. Shoot me for drinking a coffee. You know, allow me with that. Nunez is that guy, literally a Cavani regen. Boy, Torreira's thing's done, innit? Leave Hallier alone. Torreira's done, bro. Like, Torreira's done here, man. Like, respectfully, big up Torreira, but he's done here. Like, it's over. Like, it's over. Just get your bread. Let's move on. I mean, I wouldn't say, if I would say finished articles, Cedric, Xhaka, Partey, Lacazette, you know, you lot are at that age now where you can always improve, you can always learn, but we kind of need certain levels, Leno, certain levels of consistency and the rest of it under you lot. So I would say, yeah, man, it's one of them. It is what it is. What's the time? 20 past. Hey, my time is going hella slow. Don't forget, people, 10 past 2. I'm going to be with Mo. They know I'm cut. Like, again, it's going to be a jam-packed day of content, really and truly. In fact, keep your opinions coming, people. Just making sure I've made that stream, y'all. So, yeah, man. I mean, I like Nkunku and that ability to play false 9. Again, come to the team, midfield, false 9. But again, I would like that in addition to a striker that just plays up front, because I'm all for false 9s. But as I keep saying, some games we might just need the striker to just do what the basic job of a striker is to do. And like, if we look at Lacazette, listen, general play, link up play, even though he's lost a yard of pace and not really doing it to the standard he can, in my opinion, Lacazette's still good, but sometimes the striker just needs to score. You know, we might, if our club wasn't as healthy as it might look right now, we might be looking a bit more harsher at these sort of guys. So, yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. If you've hit the like button, God bless you. 112 likes. Very thankful for you lot doing that. Twitch gang, you know your thing. Arteta's culture rebuild has been talked about, but does that carry through to the overall club? Say once he's gone, as now the ops want, what changes have been really made at the executive level? And that's it. You know, I do think academy, well, Mertesacker been doing well, you know, up until, like you said, up until Arteta's point, from what I can see, it looks like things are ingrained. But those above, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if the owner of this football club wants Arsenal to do the thing, really. Because man might just see this as, raw. We was thinking top 6 in the summer, you know. Arteta's got top 4, you know, back-to-back 8. We're 4th now. We're back. Because alarm bells should have been ringing at this football club way before Arteta. A lot of the things we're praising Arteta for, it should have been happening before Arteta. Do you remember that season? You know, obviously there was a number of years, and we ain't finished above Spurs for a minute. You know, such is my childhood being ruined. But there was a number of years Spurs almost pipped us. But I can't remember the year. But there was one year in particular. I think they bottled against Newcastle or something. We literally just about, even by Arsenal standards, we just about pipped them to it. That's when the alarm bell should have started ringing. And I think after that, the next season is when they started finishing above us, etc., etc. I heard stories that Santi Cazorla might be joining the coaching team. If true, great addition in my opinion. How beneficial would that be to the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli? It'd be great because he's got a fantastic viewpoint. I can't lie, boy. I'll be telling on this current thing, I'll be telling Santi Cazorla, you know, register him in the matchday squad, because we could do with that in the number 8. But it all depends what he's like as a player, innit? I mean, as a manager, what he brings to the level, man. Facts, Justin. I mean, we all would love Jude Bellingham, but that's crazy. I will be live with Ransom Matisse. Don't worry. We'll be there. You know, what happens if Eddie signs a new deal, bro? That man, if he signs a new deal, you need to leave on loan. We need to try and turn that into a money maker. You know, if he was to leave on loan and come back a quality player, then who cares? We finally got someone. The phone probably starts ringing, but that should be a money maker. If Balogun shows he's not levels, we should be making money because of his contract tied down. We need in fact, we need to improve selling players. You know, again, Edu, respectfully, since you've come here, big up you lot for selling Joe Willock, but Joe Willock forced a loan move in Jan and put himself in the shop window. It weren't really a hustling thing like that, really. I don't know what Edu's on in terms of outgoings. Last summer, Balogun, new deal. Smith Rowe, new deal. Tierney, new deal. You was part of the recruitment drive that saw us bring in the players we brought in, fair play. But then we hear you wanted other players, and Arteta's talent ID reigned supreme, even going back to Partey, you know. Apparently he wanted Alwood then times. You wanted it Partey. Now, who cares? Because we should have got both, but it is what it is. I don't know for your talent ID. I don't really know who you got in your phone book. Outgoings, I ain't really seen you sell nothing. And I need to see some serious outgoings. I need to know that in the summer, you're going to get something for Torreira. You're going to sort out Bellerin and whatnot. All you've done is come here and rip up deals, really, respectfully. Not trying to get at him and that, but yeah, man. That's how I look at it. Outgoings, as much as we need a striker and all these, bro, you should even be, bro, Bellerin, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, Leno, Torreira, anyone else that thing's gonna, bro, we should be selling, man. Respectfully, Eddie and Nketiah, a couple other teams, Liverpool and Chelsea specifically, someone's getting zanged. They're bumping someone for Eddie Nketiah. Realistically, we need to be on that. And let me be fair to Edu. A lot of the coaches that are still at the club, Arteta and Edu, have inherited them, but then they've somewhat kind of followed on from it. The tearing up contracts was happening before them. It's now happening again. Spending silly money is happening, you know, and things like that. So I need to know a lot about Edu. Like I said, if Arteta left tomorrow, you've won an FA Cup, you've kind of reset the club in your own little way. I don't know what Edu's done, really. And that's not me trying to get at him because, again, I'm a fan. I don't know what you're doing. I probably, if I did know everything, I would look at you completely differently. But I don't. I can only deal with what I see at the surface. What's up with Reece Nelson? It's just not happening right now, is it? Yeah, you think you did miss the Arteta news. But what I can do is give you a timestamp from minute 10 to 24. If you're on Twitch, it's kind of peak. You have to wait till the thing's done. Thoughts on Cody Gakpo? From what I can see, he looks kind of lit, looks a bit raw. We'll take him. I'm not on the Hallier thing, man. Sometimes I think you just need to be elsewhere, man. No, it's Football Manager, man. Don't like the idea of bringing someone in to play false nine. The whole point of a false nine is that the opposition doesn't know who the striker is and multiple players take up the 9 position like that. I mean, I'm on that, but man, still got to score goals, man. We need goals, man. I wouldn't mind Rashford. I'm not against it, but I'm not going to move heaven and earth, man. Because Michael Edwards, we don't know what he's on. He might want to, you know, he might want to break. You hear PSG are onto him, Madrid are onto him. I don't think he'll come to Arsenal and that, but yeah, no worries, my guy. No worries. Let's get into some of this transfer stuff as well, man. Keep your opinions coming. Again, it's been brazy in relation to transfer news. Let's call it transfer news. I know there's something with Eduardo. New kit. So yeah, let's crack on, man. Let's crack on. Big up you lot, large up you lot across Twitch and YouTube, people. Where do we start? Yeah. That's the Gary Neville. Let's start actually with this sort of stuff, things that aren't exactly football, transfer related. Aaron Ramsdale is rated as 50-50 to make Arsenal's visit to Palace. So I reckon he's there then, innit? But again, as we've seen previously with Partey, as we've kind of seen with Tomiyasu, and Arteta's learned from it, if he is not, I'm not talking about putting your body on the line and all of that. If he is not properly fit, don't play him. I'd rather lose a game than lose him for the rest of the season. I'd rather lose a battle and then not win the war and then win the war. We've got to look after people. So yeah, man, he's got a hip injury. It shagged him out of playing Switzerland and Ivory Coast. He's rated as 50-50. You know, only time will tell if people are playing games. You know, I don't know if Palace are telling the truth with Zaha and Eze and whatnot. I don't know. But allegedly, Aaron Ramsdale is rated as 50-50 for such people. He's continued his rehab during the international break. He's injury in the first half again. He sustained it in the first half against Liverpool and carried on. To be fair, we've got Leno in it, so it shouldn't be that deep if he's not ready to play. But I'm not gonna lie, man. You and Tomiyasu need to be there in it. And obviously, Ramsdale didn't play in our 4-1 victory over Brentford B yesterday, where Laka scored his first Arsenal hat-trick and nobody saw it, in it. Tomiyasu has been battling a calf problem and had not played for over. Scored in the game at London Coley. So yeah, man, that's Ramsdale. What else is there? Lacazette bags a hat-trick as Arsenal cruise to a 4-1 win in their friendly against Brentford B. Shout out to all the young players who got to play as well. Moro, Nathan, the rest of them, man. Bradley Ibrahim, he's just, you know, great week for him, you know, the young man. He signed his first pro deal at Arsenal. and has got to mix it with Arsenal's first team, and obviously these are experiences that will stay with them for life. Look, you've got Desai there, you've got Nathan, you've got Mika Beref, you've got Moro there, you've got Charles Sago Jr., who for me is having a very good season, you know, knows how to score goals and based on merit deserves to be about here, if I'm honest with you. Bradley Ibrahim, as I just said, signed a pro deal, and that yeah, no, come on, Charlie Patton. I can't see you there, but big up. Oh, there you are, Charlie Shazza. Come on, hey, you see why I rate, bro? Shout out Nathan, shout out Charlie, man, because they had time for a little, and a couple of others, man. They had time for little old DG interviews. When you get me, these sort of guys will always have my support, man. Giving DG's little interviews. Brooke Norton Coffee as well. Lovely to see him and Dan, who's now at Brentford, ironically making progress with England, and bare other names, but. Allegedly, Arsenal dominated possession as expected, and Eddie Nketiah almost scored. Story of his life. You know, Holding had a chance to score and he didn't. You know, nice to see Tavares getting some minutes. So, yeah, man, some people need them. And crucially, I hope no one's picked up any injuries. Big up Miguel Aziz in the cut as well. Charlie, get me, Haaland Demons and that, you know. So, yeah, man, it was good. It was good. It was good. Lacazette still being a favourite uncle and chaperoning. That happens. Hopefully Arsenal either replay the game. Remember when they did that watch along, like a replay watch along? I'd love to sit here and do that with you lot, or we see some highlights. If not, then we 1-4-1 in it. So there's minutes in the legs, there's no injuries, and that sets us in good stead. Arsenal are sweating over the availability of several first-team players for Monday's Premier League clash away to Crystal Palace. We've mentioned Ramsdale, Tomiyasu's not been selected, but apparently Tomiyasu is fit, so that's Ramsdale, Tomiyasu. Who else? Bit of a lie. You know, bit of an overkill, really. But yeah, we did our thing. And yeah, shout out to all the young players who were involved. Big up my guy Nathan, as you can see. Yeah, man, these are the pictures. Holding captaining, showing his importance. And thank you to Brentford for coming and giving us that. You know, shout out to Miziz as well, who's there. Leno and that. I'm sure Leno is vexed. He'd rather be off with Germany, and he probably won't be here next season. But yeah, there's that. Another co-sign by one of my favorite players ever. Martinelli is a phenomenon. I cannot say that word. I hope I did it. But Martinelli's been gassed up by Dani Alves. That follows R9 gassing him. Let's just go, my phenomenon. So happy to have you by my side. I mean, that's my guy, man. And Jurgen Klopp speaks and then shout out Martinelli. I thought I would just mention that. Apparently, Eduardo reveals why he turned down the chance to wear Thierry Henry's number 14 shirt, people. He's revealed the details behind him. He said, he said, my move to Arsenal, if I'm being honest, I thought it was a joke from my agent. I knew I had a good season for my club and country. I was aware of the interest in me from around Europe. And I mean, come on, man. This is Eduardo was 30. He could have been better if not for the injury, but scouting, bro. We're finding Dons that are playing, a Brazilian that are playing for Croatia. Scout Dons, bro. Eduardo scored some good finishes. I know. I didn't know nothing about Eduardo, but he came and did a job. There's guys that can be found. So as much as we waffle about Nunez, Martinez, Dybala, Felix, Osimhen, feel free to throw in some names I've forgotten about. Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, and bare other names. Oh, man can scout guys, bro. He find it, Vlahovic before they get to become known, they've got to be somewhere. Easy for me to sit here and say that, but this is why you lot are employed, isn't it? Anyways, I was aware of interest in me from around Europe, but I was also very aware of the standard I was playing at. There's a big difference between that and the Premier League. A more common route to those top clubs like Arsenal. 73 goals in 109 league games. He came to us for 12 million. He was a bad boy, got shagged with the injury. My agent always liked to mess around with me, so you never knew whether or not to believe what he was saying. And one day he tells me Arsenal are interested. I had 24 hours to prepare to fly out to London for a medical. It happened all like that. He wasn't kidding. A representative from Arsenal took me from the airport to the training ground. I sat in the car when this guy gets a call. He gives me his phone. I had no idea who it was on the other end. This guy was Arsene Wenger. I couldn't believe it. It didn't sink in that I'd obviously end up talking to him. And then obviously, unfortunately, he broke his leg, man. And, you know, you're the first time. One of the first times I've ever clapped a player scoring against us was when you came back to, who was it? I'm sure you came back against Emirates and came back to the Emirates and you scored a number 9 or 14. Henry had just left the club maybe 2 weeks ago. One of the best strikers that's ever played in the Premier League. You think I want that pressure of that number on my back? I wanted 22 because that was my number in Croatia, but Clichy had taken it. So that was it. I was Arsenal's new number 9. If I'd taken that 14 shirt, you can imagine the comparison straight away. People would have thought I was coming to directly replace Henry. And that was my plan, of course, in the long term. But through hard work and proving myself to my teammates and my supporters, not by coming in and taking his shirt straight away. Big up you. He also said Arsenal would have won the title if not for my leg injury. I did think we was going to do it in 08 before this pussy. Oh, you, Shawcross, who Shawcross is kind of sounds unapologetic for the Ramsey thing. Suck your mum's, Taylor, you fuck, you pussy. You had everything wrong with the game. You fuck. What happened to him? And that, oh man, it's like it broke and broke again. I'm sure that Arsenal would have won the league in 2008 if I hadn't been if it hadn't been for my injury. I mean, if we had a striker this season, Leicester won it. If we had you not injured, maybe, man. If spots and whatnot are not facts, unfortunately. I'm confident of it because we were playing some of the best football in the world at the time. We're in such a strong position. As AC Milan out of the tournament, that was an unbelievable team. Everything was going very well for us. Why wouldn't we have won the league? I know you can never really know with these kind of things, but that season in particular, with the form we were in and the players we had, I'm confident that we'd have won the title. When I broke into the team, it was at a time we were really building momentum. People were talking about Barcelona and Arsenal. We were the 2 best teams to watch at the time. Yeah, we was, man. At the time, even as a player being in that team, I had to take a step back because sometimes I just couldn't believe how we played. We were in such a good position. But after that game where I picked up my injury, we drew. We went on to draw another 3 games in a row and lost against Chelsea, which you don't want to hear any of that. All of a sudden, that position we were in at the top of the table had been taken over by United. As soon as they caught us, they flew away. They were top in the middle of March, and then they stayed in that position until the end of the season. Apparently, he hasn't watched his horror tackle back yet, people, or the tackle he suffered, people. I try my best to forget about what happened to me against Birmingham. I always talk about it if asked, but when I'm in my own space and in my head, I try to forget about it. But you can't help people stopping you and asking you about it. Once you're recognized as Eduardo, it's always, how are you? How is your leg? If it was up to me, I would never, ever talk about it again. But I understand people always want to hear the story. I've never watched the tackle back. I never will. It's difficult to talk about forgiveness. What's happened is the past. We can't go back and change it. I never think about Martin. I never think about the incident, but because of the nature of it and the pictures and everything that's followed, it's difficult to forget completely. So he's not, unfortunately, he's not over it, which is a shame. Bookie articles. And obviously, Arsenal shirts, I can't lie. I think this is the best one, man. Look, this is wavy, the pink thing. This is... You lot are going to get... Arsenal on the best of days get all my money in it, but you lot are going to definitely get my money now, man. Flamingo, pink. Like, obviously, like, look at it, people. Wavy. This is the one. And then look at all of them. You see, again, this is... I like the black one. I'm not going to lie. It all depends on the camera angles. I preferred... They had like a black concept one without all of these... Pardon me, I don't know how to describe it, but without all these designs and that. But I still think that... I think the pink's the favorite. I think the black one's second. And I like the... do you know what it is? I think the Arsenal the home shirt is wavy. It's just unfortunate that there's 2 wavy home... I'm sorry, 2 wavy away and third shirt. So next to them, it looks rubbed. But yeah, man, it looks wavy still. It looks crazy wavy. Away from that, what else have we got here? Fuck off, Gary Neville. Douglas Luiz could... his replacement, but we just heard today Calvin Phillips wants to stay at Leeds. But we all know Douglas Luiz is wanted by Arsenal. Allegedly, he's contracted until 2023. So there's a decision to make, which obviously you can see why Arsenal have been linked with him. Luis attracted interest from Arsenal during the January transfer window and has admirers in Spain, obviously off the back of his 2 years he spent there. He's also forced his way into the Brazil squad, but he was left out of the last one, people. So maybe a move to a bigger club could help him. You've seen what it's done for Ben White and Ramsdale to a slight degree as well. So maybe that's something. Completely off topic, Arsenal are not going to do it. But for me, if Arsenal could sign Karim Adeyemi, who you hear, you know, the negotiations, you need to do that. Hickney, for me, he can play in a back three, he can play in a back four, he can be a left wing back, he can be a left back. I think there's a chance he ends up in midfield. If there's an opportunity to bring this guy in, I know we don't need a left back. For me, it's something that needs to be done. Join a next club and have a good future. I would love Hickney at this football club. Allegedly, Darwin Nunez is targeting a summer move to the Premier League. Darwin Nunez has told Benfica that he is ready to move this summer, and a transfer to the Premier League is very much in his bag him in January. It didn't bang. United allegedly are onto him. George Mendes is trying to get him in at Spurs. Arsenal have been linked with him in recent weeks. As you can see here, even Newcastle and Aston Villa have been thrown in to the hat for the 22-year-old, who allegedly he does have in 2022. Sorry, he signed for 2021. He signed for 21 million in 2020. He does have a release clause of more than 100 million, but a deal worth around 65 is set to be enough to land his signature. Sources with knowledge of Nunez' situation have told 90 Minutes that England is looking like his preferred destination, and the impact on the Premier League made by Luis Diaz, who obviously joined Liverpool, has played a part. And not to mention the finances, man. And he would tie into what we're trying to do. United want to of finances is poor. They are flirting with relegation. Allegedly, they will have to sell Richarlison or Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the summer. Richarlison, who didn't they have a crazy bid from Barcelona once upon a time? You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin for a certain fee. I'm not against it, people. So they probably have to. You know, his season's been poor. Richarlison, he's been hit with injury, as has the whole collective team. Richarlison's hardly been doing anything amazing. So you're not going to make the P's you thought. So why not? You're in no position to get 60 million. And, you know, he might say, I need to move to boost my England chances. So, again, you're going to probably see more links with Calvert-Lewin. This is irrelevant. This is just about why Lokonga didn't play for Belgium. Apparently, Arsenal transfer blow. I don't really care. I don't think we're missing much. As Bayern Leverkusen chief confirms German club will not sell Patrick Schick for the next few years. Where's the interest? You know, apparently City, Spurs, West Ham, Everton are all looking at him. Arsenal, it said, were leading the race to sign him. Obviously, the CEO has come out and said, no, we're not going to sell Schick, so there's no need to talk at all. He's very comfortable with us. We count on him. We count on him planning for the next few years. I can't say I'm upset about that. I'm not really convinced personally. Not really convinced in Arsenal's interest. Depending on what you read, it could be silly season. Arsenal to make Paulo Dybala transfer move with Juventus star seen as a cheaper alternative to Nunez. I mean, 65 million, and I very much doubt Darwin Nunez is going to command the same weekly wage of Dybala. Yeah, there's no transfer fee, but Dybala is going to probably end up being Arsenal's top earner or one of them. And obviously that will have knock-on effects for any contract talks you're in, because you get what I'm saying, and I don't need to keep explaining, but apparently we're looking at launching a move for Dybala rather than Darwin Nunez, people. Obviously, with what's going on, Juventus changed their mind, you know, and we all know Juventus are not in a position where they can give mad wages. Apparently, that's actually ruled out Paul. Capitalize on that situation, and this Italian publication has stated that we've already opened talks with the necessary parties on behalf of Dybala, people. He struggled for fitness-wise over the past 2 years. He's missed 18 games last season and already missed 15 through injury this year. So I know that will put off some Arsenal fans. So, yeah, this kind of just talks at, you know, Arsenal thinking carefully about big name signing. Agent travels to England for talks. Now, it doesn't just mean Arsenal. He could be talking with everybody, people. I think he'd be perfect for City, personally. I think that'd be a good fit for you. The Argentina international for next season. That being said, they will need to be convincing, as Atletico Madrid remain the main candidate, which makes sense, obviously, due to the countries, a better kind of climate, and obviously join, well, his head's cut off, but Arsenal joined Sarri in race to sign 6 million defender. Football Manager legend Sotalo, who, you know, is wanted by Lazio and Atalanta. Dynamo Zagreb last year, and he's making inroads. I'm not too sure on this level. From what I see, he's fairly tidy. But and I know Arsenal want a left-sided defender, which he can play there. I don't know if that's actually him, but I don't know if there's legitimacy in these rumours, people. If you're looking for information in relation to the North London derby, people, Tottenham and Arsenal set to play crucial North London derby in penultimate week of the Premier League season with a clash of possible Champions League decider. So again, the TV rights people are defo not missing out. Man said Eddie dropped his phone down the toilet. Some of you are so silly. Morning, Noah. I hope you're doing well and safe. So yeah, man. The potentially crucial North London derby has been penciled in for the penultimate week of the season. In a grudge match, broadcasters are hopeful of billing as a do or die Champions League decider. All they care about is viewing rights. They don't give a crap about fans. Don't give a crap about nothing. When last did we beat Tottenham away from home, let alone do the double? We're going to need to do that if we want to return to the Champions League. Arsenal and Tottenham have been advised by the Premier League that they're planning for the game to be rescheduled for the week beginning May 9th, though a final date is play. Sources have confirmed that the top flight officials have relayed to both clubs that the aim is to play the game ahead of the penultimate weekend of the season, people. There are no European club fixtures scheduled that week, meaning the match will have the total spotlight, which would serve to increase viewing figures. The match is likely to be shown on Sky Sports, who were due to show the clash when it was scheduled for January the 16th. It's been indicated to Sports Mail that broadcasters were exerting their considerable control of scheduling of fixtures with a view to scheduling the game as late as possible in the hope the North London rivals would still be involved in the race to finish in the top four. So yeah, man, I don't need to keep waffling about this, but yeah, North London derby's been rescheduled. As I said, let's not give up on Karim Adeyemi, man. Salzburg are putting pressure on Dortmund to reach an agreement for the 20-year-old forward Karim Adeyemi with a deadline of Easter. If an agreement isn't reached by then, Salzburg will reportedly deal with other clubs that are interested in signing the German international. Adeyemi has a preference to join Borussia Dortmund, but the Bundesliga side are yet to reach an agreement with Salzburg, who are asking for a reported fee of 45 million, too high for Dortmund. Well, you're going to have a lot of money from Haaland. You got bread for that, man. And you're going to make bread in a year or two or whatever from Jude Bellingham. Allegedly, Reiss Nelson is wanted to stay at... the people that be at Feyenoord want to keep Reiss Nelson to the point where they can get him on a free. He's clearly made some sort of good impression, but to us Arsenal fans, you forgot he's on loan, really. Courtesy of Google Translate, Feyenoord is currently considering tying Nelson to the club for longer. The dribbler will be rented from Arsenal until the end of the season. The Rotterdammers are therefore considering entering talks with the English club about extending his rental period. The player still has a contract with Arsenal until 2023. If he stays for another, Nelson barely appeared in games at the start of the season, but is now making more and more minutes. I mean, I'm open to him staying there, but you probably got to sign another one-year deal like last year, or we need to be looking to sell man on. So he's clearly made some sort of good impression. Come a long way from when the manager allegedly said he expected more. So I don't know what to make of that. And we've been linked with Gakpo again. He has been advised to strongly consider a move to the Emirates Stadium, people. By an ex-PSV man. He said Arsenal would be a really good place for him. This is, of course, no longer the Arsenal of the past. They are between 5th and 10th place. They're still not there, but you just can't look at league standings. Last year, they finished 10th. If they have a good year, they will finish 4th. I think Gakpo can certainly succeed in England, but I also find Bayern a good club for him. He thinks so too. I think his price is very simple, 50 million euros. He's definitely worth it. And that's irrelevant. And is that irrelevant? We've been linked with Yuri Tielemans again. Arsenal could have to pay just over 25 million to sign Tielemans this summer. Obviously, another player who is contracted until 2023, people. So yeah, it's done full circle again. And we've heard Tielemans previously come out and say, I want to play Champions League football next season, which obviously could tip the balance if we finish 4th. So yeah, there's that. Where the transfers are concerned, people. Let me make a timestamp. One love for you lot tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't. Make sure you're following on Twitch. 2:10, I'm gonna have Mo Hader on the show. So yeah, it should be a good one, really, if I'm honest with you. Large up everybody tuned in. Let me see what else you guys are saying as well, folks. Really and truly, people that really say that. DG and Uncle Ratty getting my son 2 legends. Curtis Shaw up front. If he's fit enough, why not, man? He probably score more than Eddie. Is Saka back from COVID? I hope so. Would you take Moreno? He looks decent, but nah. Morning, DG. We need Ramsdale versus Crystal Palace because they will press our backline and test if we can pass the ball out of the back. Mikel Arteta will only leave for the Man City job if Pep leaves. Not surprised at all that Darwin Nunez wants the Premier League move because he wants to test himself in the best league in the world. Just love the pink summertime. Pink one gonna be legendary after we win the league. 30. Mate, give us Pepe for Tielemans plus 20 million. Rah. Douglas Luiz ain't good enough. Got a lot of Villa fans who really want us to sign him and tell me he's clearly not the guy for our midfield. Boy, still think Zaha would be the player I'd love to see at Arsenal, DG. At once upon a time, man, but that one's gone, man. Adeyemi, top of the list for me. Quickly hopped in to pattern that like button. Appreciate that, Cube. It's a dream for Arsenal to get Adeyemi. We all know his trajectory. He's going to go Dortmund and then he's going to end up at Bayern and that's him, innit? Or Madrid are onto him. But small hope, man. We got to do the Mesut Ozil thing. Wenger used to shout him. He's like, nah, I'm going Madrid, bro. And then eventually, you know, once Wenger found out something was going on at Madrid, he said, hey, bro, you remember me? You got to do all of that. You got to do that, man. That's what we should be doing with Karim Adeyemi. Just like, hey, bro, everything good. Just little messages here and there, man. Just seeing what he's on, man. That would be lovely, but it's not going to happen, innit? Someone try to hack my Instagram today as well, boy. Pussy. Completely off topic, people, but yeah. Bad mind people all over the world, man. It's sad, really, but it is what it is, man. Shout out to you lot, man. No to Dybala coming to Arsenal. Don't need him or his wife, who's his agent drama in North London. Right, I never knew Dybala had wife agent dramas. Ain't that Icardi? Rudiger officials in Barca to discuss a move just now, and what they've basically signed Christensen allegedly, and obviously Kessié. So be interesting to see what I go on for that one. If I'm honest with you. Large up you lot tuned in, man. So it's a brazy one. What's the time? Because I'm cautious that I've got to be on Ranks History. 1 sec, people. Calm. I've got to be done at 2 though. Got a show at 2:10. Slap that one in there. And also, I need to email myself a couple links, people. But yeah, man, the show continues. Let's have one last scan of Arsenal-ish again. And allegedly, I can't find the information, but there's rumors floating online that Pepe has proposals from France or Spain in loan capacities and permanent, because no one can find anything. But I'm just seeing that one on Twitter. I don't know if that's anything to believe, but you could imagine Pepe's future has to be resolved. Him and his agent probably will, in my opinion, keep it moving in the summer. Let's see what else is going on where Arsenal's concerned. Past hour. I'm not giving up on that. Oh, Mikel Arteta press conference. We're going to definitely have to go through that tomorrow or something. But let's scan some things again, man. Hopefully, if I'm on this, I'm so on this. Let's make a timestamp. I'm so here for this. Like, I'm not giving up, man. You know, I need to see our links again. I'll take that. Allegedly, people. Allegedly, again, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt. But allegedly, agent now told to find club for sensational 75 million star Arsenal set to bid for. Juventus have now put Arthur Melo at the very top of their chopping block and even asked the Brazilian's agent to find a new club for the Arsenal transfer target. Pardon me. That's according to this publication, who know Allegri wants to see the back of the Brazilian this summer. He's keen to shift the 25-year-old on and replace Arthur with a star of his own signing, who could ideally give them a completely different skill set. He's never really rated him, really. So, yeah, man, they failed to sell him. They failed to let him come to us on loan. We explored the possibility of bringing him in. You know, allegedly, Edu eventually struck a deal with Juventus for Arthur to join on loan until next summer. And Arsenal would also have obtained a 34 million purchase option for next year. And it was vetoed, people. For whatever reason, it was vetoed. But apparently, we're reportedly going to try our luck again. And if he wants to get into the Brazilian squad and solidify those things, this could be a move, man. You see what it's done for Gabriel and Gabriel Martinelli. Come to us, man. Come and join us. Arsenal have tricky forward on shopping list. Dreams of Premier League move. Same agents as Kieran Tierney. What, Mo Salah? What's going on here? Who? Man said, Omar Marmoush, allow me, man. The guy that, no, man. Respectfully, no, man. Dead. You see why I don't like these clickbaity articles? They always reel me in with the wording and that, man. Yeah, man. It is what it is in that regard. So we're just going to have to hold it. On Allegri, apparently Allegri said, I already signed as new Real Madrid manager last summer. It was done and sealed. Then Juventus contacted me. So I called Perez in the morning and told him, I'm sorry, I'm not coming. I'm joining Juventus. That's dead. How did it work out for you? 25 million for Tielemans, though. I'm for that, man. I'm for that. So for that. Bruno Fernandes has signed a contract extension for you United fans out there. And Arteta is having his press conference, which will obviously speak. We'll probably cover that tomorrow, man. Let's get 200 likes before the stream ends. As usual, big up to the viewers on Twitch watching the constant content of DG. Let's get to 10K there before the end of the year, hopefully. Big up yourself, man. Top of the morning to everybody, man. Jamaica finally won. You're right, man. Young PFA Player of the Year. Do you think Martinelli, Smith Rowe and Saka should be shortlisted? Of course, mainly Saka, if I'm honest. I don't think Tielemans is an improvement on Xhaka. I can't see this move happening. That's a bit harsh. Bars on the floor, but okay. Leaked home and third kit. What's the away kit saying, though? It's black. So, yeah, man. This is the thing. This is the thing, you know. Loans are just parking. With a lot of our loans, we just park them off and then we don't really resolve their futures and whatnot. So it's a crazy one, man. So, yeah, man, it'd be interesting to see what Mikel Arteta has had to say in relation to, you know, Saka being fit and whatnot. That was disturbing, but I'm not going to bring that on the screen. You lot just check the last thing I've retweeted on my Twitter account. But yeah, on that note, though, I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to go on Rants this stream. I'm back at 2:10. That's only on Twitch, though. So Twitch gang, keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to have Mo. I need you lots questions, talking points, etc., etc. So I'm going to love and leave you lot, people. It's been fantastic. Forget the transfer news, even though it's always nice to waffle about that with you. I appreciate you lot spending your time with, man. You know, I appreciate all your talking points, not just all the talking points. I appreciate you lot's consistent support. Without you lot, it'd be dead, innit? So, you know, whatever's left of you lot, stay, go and finish it strong. I hope everyone's doing fit and healthy. And yeah, man, go and check out the rest of the content to come. If you follow me on Twitch, I had Tapping Tobes on my show yesterday. Big up Tapping Tobes. Go follow. He's a Spurs fan, unfortunately, but go follow his YouTube account. That should be live at 3 p.m, I think. So, yeah, that should come live on my YouTube. So, there's little bits and pieces, man. 4:30, I'm playing Football Manager, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, man, I might switch that and watch the Invincible thing with you lot. But on that note, I'm going to love and leave you lot, man. You lot stay blessed, safe.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on, come on.
There's always just that active red flag, defending. I think it's like